I'll go ahead and just record. Yeah, does it say on your end I'm recording?
Yes, yes.
Okay, okay. So I'll just go ahead and start. Again, just give me one moment. Trying to give you bold screen. So at the end of every lecture, the content will be shared, and then the recordings of the class as well would also be shared. And if you have any questions pertaining to this, we can always just come back to it. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So this is Albi Consulting, of course. It's initial my name, Alabi, and that's how this started. Uh, I have basically been teaching business analysis for the better part of, I would say, 6+ months now. And on the side, I'm also a data analyst. So if you have any questions relating to data analysis, I could possibly answer that without any extra charge for the sake of this class. We can also just talk about anything else that pertains to business analysis, data analysis, and everything else. And I already told you how I came about starting to teach. I just used to teach my friends that are business analysts, and they're like, bro, you understand this thing so much, and I think that you have the calling of God over your life to teach this. So it's very much, like I said, very much personal, and I'm happy that you're the only one because I can pay so much attention to you. At the same time, it's also the case of if people are joining later on, do they have to start all over again? But they can watch the recordings and they can do what they want to do from there. So again, it's just me and you. It's just like a personal thing. If you have any questions pertaining to anything, you can ask your questions and then we can go on from there. Okay.
Okay, yes.
All right. So this is introduction to business analysis. Business analysis is not, again, really a wide topic or content. It's just what it is. It's just an aspect of tech that is non-technical. Okay. So technology, as they say, is really not a tech is really not technical. There are so many roles in the technical world that are not technical. You can be a writer in a tech company. You can be a marketing officer in a tech company. There's so
Yeah.
many tech roles, right, that are not technical. So
Yeah.
business analysis is one that blends into that role. That is really not technical, not that technical, but you just need to understand some technical concepts. You don't have to know how to code. You don't have to know how to essentially just write Python or Django or whatever language it is. You don't have to know all that stuff, but you need to understand some basic technical concepts to be able to relate well in the world of business analysis. Okay. All right. So business analysis is the practice of enabling change within an organization by defining the needs and recommending solutions that deliver value to stakeholders. Okay. So one thing I want you to underline, first of all, is the word change, enabling change. So for there to be a business analysis, there has to be a change. Okay. Change in the sense that whether it's the change comes from within or without or outside of the organization. Say, for example, you have a product that I would use WhatsApp in this case. The change can come within the WhatsApp ecosystem of the stakeholders or the management in WhatsApp are saying, we want a feature like this. That's a change in the app, right? Or your customers outside are saying they want a change on this particular app. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? But
Yeah.
whether you like it or not, it's still change, right? So,
Yeah.
like I said, enabling change within an organization by defining the needs and recommending solution that deliver value. Again, that's defining the needs. Of course, there are some people that will tell you they need this, they need that, and of course, recommending solutions. Your job is not to build as a business analyst. Your job is to just prefer solutions to shaping people's thoughts and idea concerning what they need to do. A lot of customers have an idea of what they think the app should do. As a business analyst, your job is to basically shape in that thought and okay, I think I need to ask you more questions concerning what you want. So think of yourself as a counselor or as you trying to be a midwife, right? And you're trying to help them birth the idea that they want to birth into life. So you can tell them, okay, push. You can tell them, I think this needs to be structured like this. structured this way. So just see yourself as a guardian angel for both the stakeholders. And from your understanding of stakeholders now, stakeholders are basically the people that have something to say
Yeah.
concerning what you're doing. Right. So that's a stakeholder. A stakeholder is someone that has something to say, whether it's a good feedback or bad feedback, but someone that has an input. Even if you go and ask, I give you an example. Mary is a stakeholders in my life would be my mom, my dad, my girlfriend. Because whether you like it or not, my girlfriend is a stakeholder because she can tell me, "Oh, babe, I think you need to wear this type of shirt." That's a stakeholder, someone that has a say. Another example of a stakeholder in my life is my landlord. So you can
Yeah.
tell me whether to move into this place or that's a stakeholder, someone that has something to say. Another stakeholder is, say, for example, lecturers or professors in University of Manitoba that are in the extended education. They are stakeholders in my life because they dictate my grades as well. They tell me to do things. They have something to say, right? So a non-stakeholder would be maybe someone I know, rather, I would say, for example, maybe a best friend of mine or someone that basically has nothing to say. You don't really have to comment. You don't have so much influence on what I'm doing. So you can stakeholders can be put in different scenarios. So in terms of my love life, my girlfriend can be a stakeholder. Of course, she's a major stakeholder, as you know. In terms of my religion, a pastor is a stakeholder. So depending on the app that you're building or depending on the organization that you are, stakeholders can be different depending on the projects that you have. Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
Yeah.
So stakeholders can be different in different scenarios. So if you're building a project that has to do with you requiring input from your managers, your team leads, and those guys are stakeholders. You can be doing another project that they are not informed or they are not involved. They are not stakeholders. Do you get? So
No,
stakeholders essentially are you do not?
no. I did
Okay.
not what you just said, like the last
So
step.
I give an example of a project. Say for example, you are trying to build a building in your organization. You work in a construction company. You try to build a building, right?
Yeah.
Your manager, your team lead are stakeholders in that project.
Yeah.
I give you an example. You're trying to write a certification for your own advantage. Your manager and your team lead are not stakeholders
Yes. In
in
that
that scenario. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So
yeah.
depending on the projects that you have, so think of different projects. You're in a business environment or you're in an organization whereby there are different projects that go on. So there's some people that are general stakeholders that whether you like it or not, your CEO, as long as you're working in that organization, any projects you are touching, your CEO is a stakeholder.
Yeah.
You can now work in on another project whereby maybe you are doing a marketing campaign for a business, right? Your marketing team lead is a stakeholder. Now you move from a marketing campaign to a sales campaign. Is your marketing team lead still a stakeholder? No, because that's a different project entirely.
Mm.
So again, think of stakeholders as yes, think of stakeholders as they have something to say concerning the outcome of something.
Yeah.
Should I give you more examples?
You can. Yeah.
Okay, so let's take a car manufacturing company now, right? You are a car manufacturer, right? And your stakeholders are basically the people who drive your cars, right? And the people who are building the cars, the engineers and the architects and everything else. Those guys are stakeholders because they have something to say concerning the design, concerning how the engine should look or what the engine should do. Those guys are essentially stakeholders, right? As a
Yeah.
project manager in that role, those guys are stakeholders. Now, you now move to another project. Say, for example, you start to work with or you're trying to build an aeroplane. People like pilots and now your new stakeholders. Your engineers can still be your stakeholders,
Oh.
but maybe a different department of engineers are now stakeholders. So
Yeah.
stakeholders mean people that have input. So think of people that you can go and meet for feedback. Think of people that can tell you. So drive it home, brings it back to my relationship. Like if I in my love life, say for example, I'm trying to decide what to wear to a dinner. Mary Aligbede is not a stakeholder in that space.
Yeah.
My girlfriend is a major stakeholder. My best
Yeah.
friend might be a stakeholder. Depending, so depending on the project depending on the outcome I'm trying to get, that determines your stakeholder. Again, a stakeholder is anybody that has a stake or anybody that has a say in the outcome of what you're trying to do. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So can you give me an example of a stakeholder?
Okay.
Just give me a scenario and give me a stakeholder, for example, like this and this and this can be a stakeholder.
Oh, okay. Yes. Let me say, coming here to Canada for one, RI60 was a stakeholder in my like.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
My parents,
Perfect.
because they funded the entire thing.
Perfect.
Yeah. So
Perfect. So now let me now ask you, when you were making a decision concerning what school to pick, was IRCC a stakeholder?
no.
Right. So do you see that they can be a stakeholder and they can also be a non-stakeholder, depending on the project or depending on the
Yeah.
outcome you're trying to get. Okay, then we can
Yeah.
move on from there. So he says this set of tasks and techniques used to perform business analysis are defined by business or called Babok is like the Bible for business analysts. It's just every information you need to find about business analysis is inside the business analysis body of knowledge called Babok, right? So he says business analysis is a disciplined approach for introducing and managing change in an organization. We already explained what that is. The value of business analysis is in realization of benefits, avoidance of costs, identification of new opportunities, understanding of required capabilities, and modeling the organization. That's just industry jargon. I'm going to break that down. Now, the value, when I say value, what that means is the benefits, like the what you bring to the table, what the business analysts bring to the table is basically the value proposition is you're trying to improve something, right? Say for
Yeah.
example, we use WhatsApp. As a business analyst that you work with the team, okay, you work with Meta, but let's say you work on the WhatsApp team. As a business analyst in the WhatsApp team, you're trying to avoid maybe reduce the amount of cost. The management has given you an objective that Mary, as a business analyst on this project, we need to be able to get to 1 billion users and we need to be able to reduce the amount of cost that we incur. What do you think we should do? As a business analyst, you can find solutions that okay, for us to get 1 billion users, I think we need to talk to this and this and this influencers. For us to be able to do that, we need to build them a dashboard or a platform where we can onboard these influencers and we can track their metrics in real time, blah blah blah. You can give all that solution essentially and then prefer it to the management team, and you are basically helping them increase their user base and reduce the costs as well. So you're not doing accounting work, you're just doing technical work that helps reduce costs.
Yeah. So wait, so now that you're saying that, is it just only cost? Like, oh well.
It's not just costs. So
Oh,
identification of new opportunities as a business
oh,
analyst as well. So you can help them identify new opportunities. You can look at what Telegram is doing and you can tell them that I think we should copy this particular feature. Yeah,
yeah.
helping them identify new opportunities. I think we should do because WhatsApp now has screen sharing. Did you notice?
Really?
Yes, you
No.
can now screen share on WhatsApp video call, WhatsApp audio call. Telegram had that before. Maybe it's a business analyst that told them that look, Telegram has always had screen sharing ever since day one. We can increase our user base because a lot of people don't want to be going to Zoom, don't want to be going to this. We need to be able to enable our users to be able to screen share as well on WhatsApp, just so we don't. Do you understand? As a business analyst, those are the conversations that you have. So you're helping them identify new opportunities. Again, it says understanding required capabilities and modeling organizations. So you're understanding that this is the capability that the team can do, and then you're also helping them model this after an opportunity or a new idea that's not been formed or that's been formed, and you can basically copy, refine, and then basically help improve the process. Someone said something which was very important. He said, "There's no productivity everywhere. Productivity is you not making the copycat obvious." So you copy something and then you refine it, and then it doesn't look like you copied stuff. Because if productivity, not creativity, rather creativity. And if creativity was real, the question was, can you take a blind and a deaf man that's been dumb, like blind and dumb from womb, and can they essentially create stuff? No, but they have to see something to be able to create it in their own world. You as a business analyst, most of the concepts that you're going to be creating, they already exist. Do you understand
Oh,
what I'm trying to say? So
uh,
you're just refining, you're taking idea from A company, B company, C company, put it together, and then you give D company, and everybody's like, wow, Mary is so intelligent. That's what you're doing.
okay.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
So it says the value of business analysis is realization of benefits. We already spoke about that. Through the effective use of business analysis, we can ensure an organization realizes these benefits, ultimately improving the way they do business. Okay. It says business analysis may be performed to understand the current state of the organization, which will turn to serve a basis of identification of business needs. Okay, so current state is current. Underline the word current. What is going on versus future state. What do you think we should do in the future? So your role is basically you can take a look at WhatsApp currently now. How many users do we have? How many engagements do we have? What's our users saying? That's the current state. And then future state is now you designing stuff for the future and saying that okay, I think this is where we should be. I think this is what we should do. I think this is where we need to get to. Do you understand? That's
Yeah.
also your role as a business analyst. Okay. All right. So the business analyst is an agent of change, right? We are the liaison intermediary between the business and the technical team. Okay, let me just stop sharing the screen. Um, and I basically want to show you stuff. Mm-mm-mm. I'm sorry, just give me one moment. Just give me one moment, please.
Yeah.
Okay, I wanted to open a notepad for you. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So he says we are the liaison. Do you know what liaison means? Intermediary
Yeah.
between the business team and the technical team. So in an organization, what are the people in the business team? Accountants, accountants, you have lawyers. Okay, let's use WhatsApp just so we can have a structured approach to things. So in the business team of WhatsApp, they will have accountants, of course, they will have lawyers. Who do you think they will have on their business team as well? They have
Mm,
their operations,
yeah.
they have customer service,
Yeah. Marketing and all those things.
marketing, right? Marketing. Those are the business teams, basically. Business team guys are literally the guys that bring money into the company, right? Or they essentially just operation. Just think of these guys as operations team. They make the company work. Do you get?
Yeah.
So in WhatsApp company, um, you can have. So let's give you technical team. You have software engineers in WhatsApp. Software engineer in WhatsApp. You have
All the
uh,
cybersecurity people.
thank you, cybersecurity. You have designers, UX, UX designers. You have DevOps. DevOps are basically also like guys that basically the intermediaries between all these teams as well.
Yeah.
But they are very technical, very, very technical. DevOps, you have software engineers, you have, of course, UI UX. What else? You have quality assurance. Quality assurance are the people that they test out the product. They're
Eh,
also called
yeah.
testers. You have product managers. You
Yeah.
have what?
No, I was just agreeing
Okay.
with you.
Yeah, you have product managers, you have scrum masters, I can explain the concept of Scrum Masters. Scrum Masters are basically just organizers of meetings. They remove impediments, like, oh, if anybody's facing any issues, is a Scrum Master they need to talk to. You have Scrum Masters. You basically
Wait,
have those guys. Mhm.
yeah. You said like if they have any issues. What do you mean by issues? Is it like HR
Mhm.
but not necessarily
No,
HR?
yeah,
Oh,
HR in the tech team. Thank you. They look so look at take these guys
okay.
and put them as guys that look out after welfare of the technical
Yeah.
team. The
Okay, just the
yes,
tech.
yes. So say for example, like the MacBook of the software engineers are really not working well. The Scrum Master they can know about it and they can talk to the management. Say for example, we are supposed to organize like a meeting, 15 minutes meeting. Scrum Master is basically the one that will organize all those meetings, track each and every step of the way, and basically tell you, okay, this is what we need to do, this is what we need to do, this is what we need to do. The word Scrum Master came from the word Scrum. Um, Chrome. Let me open Chrome here.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Let me show you a Scrum team. Ruby. This is where Scrum came from, where everybody's collaborating together. Do you see this? Where everybody's collaborating together, right? To be able to push. Now, you can't say whether it's this guy on the far extreme side that is making so much effort or the guy wearing the number 4 shirt. Everybody's working together. Do you
Yes.
understand? So, his Scrum Master is basically this guy organizing that the team is working together
The,
to be able to achieve a goal.
the one standing on the
Yeah, the
green.
one standing.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Okay.
yeah, or this guy, you can
Okay.
basically say because this guy is a player, is amongst them. You can say he's this guy, right?
Oh.
So you can say he's one organizing the entire, looking on everybody's welfare. So think of him as the referee. So if somebody's injured, the scrum master can quickly see it and say, okay, I think we need to take this player out. I think we need to
Uh,
do this. I think we need to do that. Do you understand? That's where the
yeah.
word scrum comes in. So if they say scrum team, right? It's basically, look, let's give an image. Scrum, do you see where Scrum Master is? Developers. Scrum
Yeah.
team is just a team of product. Yes, a team of everybody that I gave in this example. Everybody here, everybody working on the project. So this is a Scrum team. You have your product owner that can stand and be watching as well. But the Scrum Master is essentially like the referee again, like your referee here, checking on each and everybody. Do you understand
Yes.
that concept? Okay. So it goes back to this, right? And then it's like, so this is your technical team, this is your business team. As the business analyst, this is where you come in. Analysts. This is where you come in. You are the
Yeah.
intermediary between these guys and these guys.
Yeah.
Okay? So what that means is that these guys in your business team can basically have a vision and they can basically want to do something. They communicate that to you as a business analyst, and then you can then go ahead to talk to the entire technical team that this is what we need to build. Do you get what I'm trying to say? This is
Yes.
what we need to build. And once you communicate it to them, your job is to be going back and forth to these guys, and be giving them updates. That's your job as a business analyst. You're talking to your software engineers, you're talking to your cybersecurity guys, you're talking to your UX designers, you're talking to DevOps, you're talking to quality team, you're talking to product managers, you're talking to Scrum Master. Do you see that each and everybody's role is different? A project manager, a product
Yeah.
manager rather, is you are literally the captain. So let's go back to that picture. This can be a product manager. You're literally the captain, steering the entire team.
Okay.
Like, oh, we need to move, guys. We need to push, guys. We need to deploy. Oh, what's the update? How are you feeling? Oh, what's going on? You are the product manager, and everybody's reporting to you. Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. Yes.
Yes. So as a business analyst, you're basically in between. You can be under these guys, basically understanding what is going on between teams. Again, each and everybody's role is defined.
Yeah.
I can explain the job of a software engineer to you, explain the job of cybersecurity, but you get the point. So let me stop sharing this.
Okay, so yes, as you just mentioned this now, I have like two questions. For one, we are using WhatsApp as our example
Case
here.
study. Hmm.
Yes, case study basically. If it wasn't WhatsApp, like my question is just basically if it's not like maybe IT related or a different company entirely that needs a business analyst. So would
Hmm.
it just be the technical team and the business team in all scenarios? Like,
For you to be a business analyst, you have to
yes.
be working on a technical product.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you can't be. It will be another name. They can put you as strategy analyst or something, but as a business analyst, you have to be working on a technical product. There has to be a technical team, and there has
Okay.
to be stakeholders in the business team. Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
Yes.
Okay, let me explain that again to you. Again, as a business analyst, you cannot work in an environment that is not technical because
Okay.
you're an intermediary. So if you're working in an environment that is not technical, what are you an intermediary between?
Okay.
So this WhatsApp that we're using as an example now, we've identified the business teams and everything, we've identified the technical teams. Let's take that to a consulting company. I give you Mary and Co. Consulting, a consulting company for Walmart. Walmart is telling you that their system is really, really slow. Their retail management system is really, really slow, and they need to speeding up the process. As Mary Consulting Company, they consult you and then they give you that contract. If you're working as a business analyst within that organization, you're basically talking to the stakeholders in Walmart and talking to the guys internally in Mary and Co to develop the product and improve the product. So
Okay.
you doesn't have to always be a technical company. You can work in a consulting company too. That they are as well like selling their services to another company.
Yeah.
Do you understand that concept now?
Yeah.
Okay, so we can go ahead. All right. So it says, as business analysts, we identify and define the solutions that will maximize the value. Of course, we've spoken about this. Business analysts work across all levels of organization and may be involved in everything from defining strategy up to defining the goals and requirements for projects. Okay. So let me just explain that one by one. They work across all levels of organization, all levels, from the CEOs to the mid management to the lower management. You're working at across all levels. You're working with accountants, you're working with lawyers, you're working with operations team. Again, goes back to that conversation. Who is a stakeholder? A stakeholder is someone that has a say in what you have to
Right.
build. Do you understand what
Yeah.
I'm trying to say? So, as a stakeholder working with WhatsApp now, you're trying to launch a particular feature. A lawyer can be a stakeholder in that aspect because compliance issues can come up.
Yes.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
Marketing guys are stakeholders as well because you need to understand the marketing angle of how they are going to produce
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
sell stuff. Customer service is also a stakeholder because they need to be able to tell the customers about it.
Yes.
Do you understand? But
Yeah.
if you're building something completely different, you don't have to. I mean, we already established that concept that these same guys don't have to be the same stakeholders. Do
Yes.
you understand what I'm trying to say? So again, it says you're working across all levels, involved in everything from defining strategy. Strategy is basically the how we're going to go about things. You're defining how to define these goals and the requirements for this project. Again, we already understand the concept of requirements. It's a list of things that need to be done or that need to be carried out for this project to survive. A requirement for Mary to live every day is she needs oxygen. That's a requirement. She needs money. That's a requirement. She needs food. She needs water. She needs shelter. Those are requirements for you to be able to exist. Two things, there's requirements and there's the outcome. Okay, Mary, I need to send you to the shop to or to the grocery store to buy me something. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I need to be able to send you to a grocery store to buy me something. Two things. The outcome is I want you to get me something. And also the what would be the requirement. What do you want me to get you? I give another example. A requirement for a car to move is the car needs fuel.
For you, yeah.
The car needs a road. The car in this day and stage might not need a driver, but
Yeah.
primarily now you need a driver, right? Do you understand what I'm trying to say? The car
Yeah.
needs a battery for it to be able to operate.
Yeah.
Do you get? Those are requirements for so the end goal is for the car to what? Move.
Move.
Do you get what I'm trying to say? So
Okay.
there has to be a goal. The goal is always the end goal. The goal is always the end part, like
Outcome.
the outcome exactly. And then your requirement is what you need for that outcome. So as a business analyst, you have a goal. They've given you a goal that we want more users. That's the goal. Now there has to be a list of requirements that okay, what are the things that we need to get in place to get users? We need to have a platform to actually onboard these users. We need to actually know where we are getting these users from. So those are the requirements. Do you get?
Yes.
Okay, so let's go on. So this is just a pictorial image, a business analyst role. Again, you are the intermediary between the the business team and the technical team. This is customer team, depending on the area you're working on, depending on the what's it called now, depending on the niche you're working on. If you're
Yeah.
working in an e-commerce company, for example, it's a different term that we use. If you're working in WhatsApp, it's a different term. When I mean different term, the customer team and the technical team, they can say the business, the operations team and the technical team. They can say the strategy team and the technical team. They can say the client team if you're a consulting company,
Yeah.
and then the technical team, right? So what you're doing is identifying the needs of these guys. These guys, you're identifying their needs. These guys here,
Yeah.
you're identifying their business needs, and then you're communicating this in detail to the technical team.
Yeah.
Again, validating the solutions. Is this what you said you want? So think of this arrow.
Is what did I say I want?
Okay, so let's go back. When you identify the business needs, Mary, this is what we need to do in the WhatsApp team, right? The business
Yeah.
stakeholders have given you their needs, a list of requirements here. You go and talk to the technical team. You give them a detailed requirement, right?
Yeah.
That these guys have given you a list of needs. You've transformed it as a business analyst to a detailed requirement. You've submitted it to your technical team that this and this is what they want inside their product, right?
Yeah.
Then the technical team now breaks it down and tells you how you're going to do it. When I mean how, think of the technical team as so give me okay, let me give you an example of a solution. In WhatsApp, we are trying to improve the what can't WhatsApp do currently? WhatsApp cannot have more than 200,000, more than 256 people in a group chat.
Yeah.
Right. So now the need now is the stakeholders have given you an initiative that we need 500 people to be able to go into a group chat. As a business analyst, you take that for a requirement. Okay, you take that as a need, as a business need, and then you have meetings with them, and then you detail it out. Okay, this 500 people, do you want people in these people's contacts, or do you want them
Oh,
to be able to add
and
new guys that they don't know again, that they don't know from anywhere? Do you want these people to be able to be within a certain country? Do you want these people? So those are the list of your requirements.
yeah.
Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
They've given you the need. We need 500 people. That's the overall need. Now you're breaking it down with them that, okay, these 500 people, do you want them to be an existing contact of the group admin? How many admins do you want in the group? Or what's the maximum amount of admins that you want? Do you understand what I'm trying to say? You're
Yeah.
getting this information from these people. So this is back and forth meetings that you're having with these guys. Do you understand? How
Yeah.
many admins do you want? How many messages do you want people to be able to share more than 50 images in one day? Do you want there to be a cap on the number of texts that they can send? You're asking those questions. So once you have all those answers, that's your detailed requirement.
Oh.
So, hi guys. My name is Mary. I've spoken to the customer team. I've spoken to the business operations team in WhatsApp, and they already gave me a list of things that they want to do. Oh, Mary, what do they want to do? Well, they want to be able to boost their WhatsApp user base from 256 as the cap, currently to be about 500. Okay,
But
and
yeah.
now what they are now saying is, okay, no worries. These are a list of requirements that they need from that. Now you give it to your technical team. Your technical team now looks at it and tells you that, okay, I think we can build this as a solution. So your technical team dissects it and say these things there are some things here that are not possible. What do you mean you want to have 100 admins? It doesn't make logical sense. They take it out. They dissect it and say, okay,
Oh,
at the end of the day, I think this thing can be built. By the time you now give them, so don't forget, in your technical team, you have your software engineers, you have your UX designers, you have your product managers, you have your quality testers. By the time you are done by the time they are done, they build this thing out for you. Once they build it out, they have a solution.
yeah.
There's of course there's a process of you don't just build. I'm just jumping a step and saying you build stuff out. Once you build stuff out, you now send it to your guys and say, guys, is this what you asked for?
Okay.
Do you have
Okay.
any comments? Do you have any feedbacks?
Yeah.
What do
Okay.
you
Okay.
say?
Oh, I wanted to ask that, like, the solution, like the final thing after the
Hmm.
maybe going forth and back,
Hmm.
is what you now present to them to validate.
Yes, to validate, like, oh, is this what you're looking for? Is this what you guys asked for?
Okay.
And then you move from there. If the answer is yes, pass and on to the next.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's your role, right? That's the role of a business analyst. So let's just detail it more. It says
Sorry,
studies.
before
Go
we
ahead.
go on, yes. Yeah. You were saying something that, like, for this WhatsApp example, you mentioned that the technical guys said they might say some things can't be done.
Mhm.
So my question now is that, okay, as a BA, if some things can't be done, is it just to go and tell, like, in this scenario now, the customer that this cannot be done, or do you still try to make ways for it to, like, do you understand my question?
Yeah, I do. I do. So that question is a very good question. If your technical team tells you it can't be done, believe you me, the chances that that thing cannot be done is 99%.
It
If
can't
they
be
tell Yes,
done.
if they tell you it cannot be done, you're
Yeah,
not the one writing the codes. You're not the one testing the codes.
yeah,
You're not the one designing the app.
yeah,
Do you understand? So if they tell you it can't be done, you just have to communicate it to them and tell the operations team or the stakeholders and tell them that, look, we've we've decided to try this thing out. We don't think this thing can be built.
okay,
Do you understand? And then they can always make room for, okay, can you build it this way? Go back to them again. Can you build it this way? Okay, we can try it. If they try it and they test, because like I said, we are still going to get to each phase of development of an app. That's much more in the future. They will
yeah,
actually design. Once they design, they would build. Once they build, they would test. Once they test, they would try it again and say that, okay, does this fulfill all the requirements, before you eventually go and send it to these people and say, is this solution making sense?
yeah.
So by the time they do all that, that's when they will not give you a feedback and say, we've tried this thing for 1 month, though. This thing cannot be done. I think we need to communicate this to these people. So as a
That's
business
your
analyst,
job to be.
yes, as a software engineer, you don't have concerns. It's not your business. As a UX designer, it's not your business. As a cyber security person, it's not your business. It's the business analyst that we're going to be talking to the stakeholders
Yes.
and be telling them that, oh, this is where we are. This is the report. As a, like I said, software engineer, that's not your concern. Whether the
Yeah.
stakeholders get the update or not, that's not your business. Your business is to write codes.
Yeah.
Do you get? So it's the business
Yeah.
analyst that does the work around, walk around, walk around. Is that clear?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. All right. So what is the role of a business analyst? Again, excuse me. As a business analyst, you're studying documentation, a business case. Okay. So a business case is basically a document concerning what is going on. Think of this as everything that has happened on this project. That's a business case, a
Oh.
storybook of what is currently going on. So I give you an example. If they hire you as a business analyst into a WhatsApp company now, right? They're going to give you business cases concerning the different projects that they are currently working on. That's like a storybook with acts and scenes of what is currently going on. Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
A business case for a business case can be okay, um, for charts. This is a business case. Business case can detail what is currently going on, how they got to where they are, what they are planning on doing. All that is a business case. So of course, a business analyst develops a business case too, but we're going to get there too. But you're studying business cases, existing business cases, just so you can familiarize yourself with what is going on the project. So they just bring you into the company and then say, oh, you're a business analyst. How do you navigate the environment? There has to be a business case. An environment whereby they don't have a business case, they expect you to study the app itself. So there are some interviews that you go for. They'll be like, okay, have you taken a look at our website? Have you taken a look at our app? What do you think about it? So as a business analyst, again, you have to have a technical product. You have to have a product that you
Yeah.
guys are working on, whether it's a client product or internally their own product at WhatsApp. So think of the hiring you as a business analyst in WhatsApp and you don't know how to use WhatsApp.
No.
Do you understand? If they don't have any documentation for WhatsApp, they expect you that okay, at the very least, you should have used the app and you should have essentially studied so much
Yeah.
about the app to familiarize yourself. So when there are software engineers are telling you about, oh, do you know this icon on the something something, you're not lost. Do you
Yeah.
understand what I'm trying to say? So typically for this WhatsApp that we have, there's usually there is a business case for it where you can study every single thing that they've done.
Okay, like from the conception of WhatsApp.
Yes, they have
Oh,
business cases. So the
okay.
the thing is they can now give you maybe two the most like maybe two recent updates that they've done just for you to catch up.
Okay, 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 okay,
Do you
okay.
understand?
Yeah.
Now, manuals as well. It can be a product of like I said. So think of a manual. You can also have a manual for an iPhone, right? You can have a manual for your phone that comes with your phone. Forget the fact that it's a technical phone, like it's a technical product. You have apps and everything. The phone always comes with a manual. They expect you to read manuals as a business analyst. You should be able to know the guide and instructions.
What?
They expect you to be able to read the guides and the instructions of the
Okay, okay,
phone.
okay, okay,
Do you
okay.
understand? Just so you can
Uh,
familiarize yourself with your product.
yeah.
So it doesn't have to be a product off the thin air. You know WhatsApp, you cannot feel and touch WhatsApp.
Yes.
But with an iPhone, you can feel and touch
Your
an
screen.
iPhone. Do you
Oh, okay.
understand? You can feel and touch the phone itself,
Yeah.
right? But as a business, you can also work as a business analyst in Apple.
Hmm.
Do you get? They have a technical, yes, they have a technical product in the sense that they have apps, they have UI, they have all that camera, they have all that. But at the same time, they still have a physical phone.
Yes.
So, and the physical phone is supposed to come with a manual. As a business analyst, you're supposed to still study the manual.
Yeah.
Do you understand? To be able to use an iPhone properly. Journals of meetings, journals of meetings like this. As a business analyst, you're supposed to study it to know the current state. So if they hire you in between a project now, all these things, the manuals, the business case, the journals, you're supposed to read it just to stay up to date.
Yeah.
Got it? So it
Yeah.
says to understand operational objectives or problem towards analyzing the work. Okay. So next thing is as a role, the role of a business analyst, you're supposed to conduct meetings, conference calls with stakeholders, giving them news.
Yeah, like
So your
update.
updates. Is this what you want? Is this what we are building? Are we building it right? Should we do this? Should we do that?
Like updates and feedback. Yeah.
Yes. To stakeholders to determine high level requirements and define the scope of the project. So you're also excuse me, you're also making sure that everything you're doing is in alignment with the stakeholders values. Not as if at the end of the day, you are literally now going to the bottom. Like when you guys are done building, you now show them that, tada, is this what we're asking you for? No, there has to be that feedback.
Okay.
Okay. So he says uses various techniques such as interviews, observations, workshops, shadowing to understand the elicit and understand the business requirements to elicit. This is supposed to be two, but I can't change that. He says uses various techniques such as interviews. So how do you basically get information? How do you get requirements? Again, requirements are the needs. You have interviews. Interviews is, oh, Mary, can you tell me more about this? You have a list of questions that I want to ask you as a user of WhatsApp. So I give you an example. I can come up and say, okay, Mary, thank you for attending this meeting today. Today is an interview process. I'm going to be the business analyst, and I'm going to be asking you questions as a user of WhatsApp. Do you feel satisfied during calls with the call quality? Yes or no? You tell me. Okay, that to-do sound that comes when the network is breaking on WhatsApp, does it irritate you? Yes. Okay, I
Mm.
think we need to change that sound. Okay. All right. So when you're texting, do you feel like there's a lag when you send a message? Okay, there's a lag. Okay. When you are about what about the WhatsApp notifications? Do you like the way they pop up on your phone, or do you think we need to do something regarding that? WhatsApp does all these things, though. It's just with a small community of people that they do it.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Yeah, to understand like
Before they basically
I,
launch out
yeah.
to the entire world. They ask these questions. Even till now, they are still gathering information and updates. Do you understand? So as a business analyst, you're doing interviews. Observation is they could assemble as a business analyst now, Mary, you could assemble 50 users. You could tell your manager that, oh, I think we need to observe our customers. So okay, well, Mary, what do you think we should do? I think we need to gather 50 users of WhatsApp into a room. They share their screen on WhatsApp, and we just put them into that room for 1 hour and just observe what they are doing.
Oh. So it doesn't have to be like okay, yeah, no problem.
Right. So you can just observe. Workshops is, of course, you know what workshop is. You can tutorial lessons can be a
Uh,
workshop. Shadowing to understand or shadowing to elicit and understand business requirements. So it could be okay, let's study these people. Let's see from afar. Because some people might feel that we're watching them. Let's just check from afar what they're trying to do
yeah,
on the
that's
app.
what I was asked previously, but you already answered it that what of the people that don't like in person, like they see it to be too confrontational, basically. So that's shadowing.
Yes, they can shadow.
Okay.
All
Yeah.
right. You also use various techniques such as we already spoke about that. BAs articulate the ideas, but also balance them against what is technologically visible.
Oh,
So it goes back to like you can give idea that oh you want to land human beings on the sun. That's an
okay.
idea. But
Okay.
technologically, it is not possible for you to do that right
Yeah.
now. So you need to be able to balance that these things are not technologically feasible, financially they are not feasible, functionally as well they are not reasonable. Like how do you want to be able to build such? What do you want to build? The sun is hotter than anything in the world. Who wants to go there? Oh, I have an idea. So stakeholders will come and tell you they want a rocket to be able to land people on the sun. As a business analyst, your technical team tells you that's not possible. There's nothing we can do. We've tried and tried and tried. It's not possible. Your job is to go back to your stakeholder and these things cannot be done. It can't. We are sorry. Is there any other way? Do you want to go to the moon instead? That's your
Yeah.
job. So you interpret findings to business teams in to inform them about in presentation slides. So at the end of the day, when you present your information or your solution here, you can now put it in a slide that, oh, at the end of the day, we found out that initially we wanted to build the sun, but we couldn't build the sun. We couldn't build a rocket that could go on the sun. Now we've built a rocket that can go on the moon.
Oh, okay.
So you present that in a presentation slide, and then you wear turtleneck at the end of the project. Like, everybody claps for you. Thank you so much for delivering this project. Blah 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 blah, and then you go. So also says here, BAs engage with business leaders and users to understand deficiencies within the systems. I think you already know what that is. Bridging the gap between acting as a liaison between IT department and the business. You already know what that is. Conduct meetings with developers, document every deliverable, create BRDs and other relevant documents. BRDs are business requirements documents. Like, we're still going to talk about that concept much more later in the future. Okay. All right. So what does this translate to? What are the daily responsibilities of a business analyst? Okay. So
Um.
this, go ahead.
Oh no, nothing. Like somebody called me and the screen just went away.
Oh, okay. Okay. So what are the daily responsibilities of a business analyst? Number one is you elicit and discuss. Elicit is another word for elicit is find out. So once you see elicit, that's a technical jargon for find out. So you find out and discuss requirements with clients using relevant requirement elicitation or requirement finding out techniques. Requirement elicitation, how do you find out stuff, Mary?
Could ask questions, do research.
Again, interviews.
Yeah, interviews.
You ask questions in an interviews. You're observing, you're shadowing. Those
Yeah.
are the techniques of finding things out. So elicitation is again finding out. So you elicit and discuss requirements with clients using relevant elicitation techniques. So through interviews, observations, workshops, survey, right? You're asking them
Yeah.
questions just to
Sure.
find out. Go ahead.
No, no, no. I was just agreeing with you, like
Yeah,
survey.
just to find out. Again, next thing is you analyze, create, design prototypes, wireframes, use case diagrams. Don't worry, these are just the technical parts of it. So again, if these people tell you something, right? You're not just creating this in a document. You're creating this in a document, presenting it to your team. At the same time, think of engineers as nerds. They don't have time to be reading your journals, your meeting notes. A picture speaks 1,000 words, such as a diagram. See all these things that we're saying
Yeah.
summarizes every single thing here. Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
All these rules that we're saying, we basically explained it here. So these guys will not be taking a look at
The thousands
20
of words.
pages. Do you understand? 20 pages of, like, show me in a diagram. Okay, the customer does this, should be able to do this, should be able to do that, should be able to do this. So once you come as a business analyst and you're like, okay, technical team, I sent you a 30-page document. Think of these guys as geeks. They're not going to read it. One, two, three images is going to suffice for them, and they're good. Boom. On to the next. But as a business analyst, you need to be able to document stuff to be able to track. Just so if they build something that is not right, you can go back to that document. That 20 page that you're forming is what we call your business requirements document.
Oh, so they don't actually use the documents. You just give them like a summary.
Yes, a summary in
Uh,
diagrams,
yeah. Or diagrams. Yeah.
diagrams and wireframes.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So that
Yeah.
business requirement document is for you. That business requirement document can also contain the business case,
The
because your business, yes, your business case. So business case, um, is. again, just take a case as a scenario of what is currently going on. So business requirement documents, first of all, you will not start by saying they said this, they said that, they said this. How do you start? You start by saying this is what we are working on. This is the scope of the project. This is that, this is this is that. Now I spoke to this person, I spoke to this person, I spoke to that person. They gave me a list of X, Y, Z. When you're writing a letter, you don't just start by saying what? Hello, please, hello, there's a buffer. Please, I hope this finds you well. This letter is about this, and then you go into your body of your letter.
Yeah.
Do you understand? So in a business requirement document, it's not just bam, page one, requirement this. There has to be an introduction. It can be like 20, it can be like 30 pages, depending on the product or project that you're working on. Do you understand? But those guys are not going to read it. As a business analyst, you should have it. Just so the reason, ask me why you need to have it.
Why do you need to have it?
Just so if your stakeholders come back and tell you, Mary, we didn't tell you this now, you can go back
Oh, like
to that document and reference that you guys said this. And
Mm,
in a business requirement document, by the time you are done, they have to sign because they've read it through that, oh, this was what you asked. Just so we spend $1 million on the project and you come back at the end of the project and say, this is not what I asked you to build. You go back to that document and say, you signed off of this. So this and this was what you said you wanted to see. Do you see why that makes sense?
yeah.
Okay. So once we are done with this diagram, I think we just need to take this and then we go on our first break. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So far, so good. Have you been clear?
Yes, I have been. Yeah, I have understood.
Okay.
I had one question, but I've forgotten it. I'll try and remember.
I probably answered it during the time, but okay, let's continue. So again, you're analyzing and creating diagrams, designs, prototypes, wireframes, use case, and like I said, these designs are low level. There's low level, mid level, and high level. Low level is a sketch. Mid level is okay. You're putting straightening your lines on that sketch. High level is let's now put color, little colors. Now,
Oh,
as a business analyst, that's what you do. You now send it to your team, your product team. The UX and UI designer can now take that thing that you have and turn it into a picture.
oh,
Once they turn it into a picture, the software engineers then look at that picture and say, okay, in this picture, this is where your hand is, this is where your eyes is, this is where this is this. Do you understand?
yeah,
So you don't just go and dump documents in their cocoon. You give them a low level sketch that, okay, let me sketch something. Mid level sketch is when you straighten the lines of those sketch that you draw. High level sketch is when you now put color and painting. The designers now look at it and be like, I think this is what Mary is trying to do. They now design it for you. And then you be like, yes, this is it. They now send it to their software team. Software engineering team then says, okay. Picture should be here, name should be here, I should be here, yours should be here.
yeah.
Do you understand? So you're going from words to products, but you don't just jump from the words that they gave you to products immediately. As a business analyst, you're the one that transitions that process.
Transitions.
Do you understand? Into a product. They've given you words. They've told you what they need. Give me a moment, please.
Yeah.
So they've basically given you all what they need in words. You're basically the one that is now helping them bring that to life into your product. But they don't just go from words to product. Words from words to sketch, from sketch to designs, wireframes, prototypes, and everything. Then you send it to your team. Okay, so that's what you do. You create business requirement documents. We already spoke about that. You coordinate with developers to build a solution. You already know. Work with the quality assurance team to test and validate the solutions. Quality assurance are basically once they build this product, there are people that will test it. It's not your clients that are going to test it and going to be figuring out errors. There are people that will test for solutions like, oh, okay, this solution, this thing that you built, is it making sense? Imagine I build an aeroplane now. Tell you, Mary, I've built this aeroplane. But you know the funny thing, you are the client, correct?
Yeah.
You asked me to build an aeroplane. I've taken that requirement, I sent it to my engineers, we are done building. I bring the aeroplane back to you and tell you that, Mary, this is the aeroplane. But the funny thing is that we'll be the first set of people to be testing it. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Or I build a car and I tell you that I don't know whether the brake works. I don't know whether the steering works, but we'll find out together. You're like, what are you doing? Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So they are
Yeah.
testers, they are quality testers, or quality, they call them quality assurance. They are
And
quality people that are on the team as well, and they test this product. Is this product working? Just so we don't go and disgrace our forefathers with the clients. Okay. So you coordinate with user acceptance testing. User acceptance testing, again, is not ambiguous. The user, Mary, acceptance, the things that you've given me as requirements. These products must do X, Y, Z. That's the acceptance criteria. So once we are testing, okay, Mary, I built a car for you. The brake works, check. The steering turns, check. The engine doesn't make noise, check. That's user acceptance testing that you're doing there. The
yeah.
trafficator works, check. The AC works, checks. The heater works, checks. That's their acceptance criteria.
Oh, so like, does it meet the requirements basically?
Yes, yes. Like, oh, for me to be able to accept this thing as a user, there are some things that need to be done. So those are the requirements. You put it that, okay, this for me to be able to accept this as a user, I need to be able to have this in check. Do you
Yeah.
understand? So
Yes.
you support deployment and you go live. We're still going to talk about that. Again, I said that for you to be able to test it, for you to be able to give these guys the solution, there has to be what's it called? A testing process, and for you to go live. Where this is sent to them, you're already gone live. Before your website is up, they've done all this before they went live. There's a form of link that they can check if the website is basically working. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? But we're going to talk about that much more later in the future. Qualifications of a business analyst, stroke route to employment. There are no formal qualifications in the sense that you don't go to a school. You don't need a degree. You don't go
Mm.
to a 4-year course. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? It's now that they're still trying to test, maybe much more later in the future. The program that you're in, applied business analysis, can now be turned into a 4-year course.
Mm.
Do you understand? But currently now, you don't need any formal degree to be able to do that. The extended education is probably just trying to monetize. But it's, it's what it is. You don't need a formal education to be able to do that. Skills developed in the other professions and detailed knowledge of the industry can prove vital, and previous careers engaging can be used in practical terms. So even if you're a civil engineer, you can be a business analyst. Even if you are a construction worker, you can be a business analyst. But the question is, are you open to learning?
Mm.
You can be a construction worker. Now you're now going to work for a company that has a construction app,
Okay, yes. Okay. When you're done, I have a question.
right? You can now go and work for a company that has a construction app, right? And in that way, you're new to. So when they're talking about building materials, you know what they're talking about in that environment. So anybody can be a business analyst. Now the question is, if you want to go into a niche that you're new into, I can be a business analyst in a financial technology company now because I have background in accounting and
Uh,
finance.
Yeah.
So I can work as a business analyst in PayPal, in Lemfi, in PiggyVest, in MoneyPoint, because I have that experience as someone that understands finance. So when they're talking about, oh, this person should be able to save in a particular bond or in a particular currency, I'm not lost. If they're talking about exchange rates, that, oh, customer wants to be able to save this money in Japanese yen, I'm not lost. That what's Japanese yen? Because I'm into finance, I know that's a currency.
Currency, yeah.
Do you understand? So they always say it's very advisable that you've worked in, say, for example, a particular niche, but that's not a barrier as long as you're open to learning. Do you get? So a business analyst that, say, for example, I studied medicine in school and I work in an hospital that has an app, I can be a business analyst. So if you're talking about prescription, the customer needs to be able to check their prescription, customer needs to be able to understand all those things because I have experience in that field.
Yeah.
All right, so increasingly, business analysis is becoming synonymous with systems engineering, which is technical, like the product and stuff, and IT driven, of course. The requirement to become a business analyst aren't written in one stone, but personally, I would recommend a university degree, at least have that, or a diploma, have that. Knowledge of the business and environment of the business. So, say for example, I want to work in PayPal. I don't know anything about finance. I don't know anything about saving. I don't know anything about transferring money overseas. I don't know anything about that. It's working as a business analyst in that environment can be very difficult.
Yeah.
Okay. Knowledge of methodologies, tools, techniques of testing and developing business requirements. We're going to get to that. Good communication skills, whether oral and written. Again, there's some emails that you have to send. Hi, Mary. Would you like me to schedule you for an interview process? Blah, blah, blah. We are trying to work on XYZ, and our product team is wanting to hear from you. Blah, 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 blah. Blah. You need a written skill. You need your communication skills and the written aspect to be top notch. Oral skills. When you're conducting interviews, you don't want to be stammering.
Sadly. No.
Right. Good time management skills. You need to be able to time people because people are not going to be spending 2 hours with you in a meeting or 3 hours or 4 hours telling you that I think I want to be able to do this and this on an app. So all those things are very, very important. Analytical skills, of course, you need to know how to problem solve. So at this point in time, I'll just open the floor for questions and then we can go
Yeah.
for our breaks after they are being answered.
Yes. I have so as you were mentioning like good time management skills, it took me back to when you said interviews.
Hmm.
So in
Hmm.
that kind of scenario, are you saying that it should just be like maybe a yes or no kind of answer? Would that really give you like if you are speaking to a customer, basically, would only yes or no answers give you very clear like picture of what they are experiencing? Don't you think like in that kind of situation you need like give them the avenue to talk more?
Yeah. So you again, interviews are first of all you need to have them recorded, right? Just so you
Yeah.
can go back and then listen to what they're trying to say. So you can ask them a yes or no answer, and then you can say if yes, and then dissect
Oh
and
yeah.
dive deep.
Okay, so like if
Okay,
you
so let me ask you a question. Mary, are you married?
no,
Okay, are you single?
yes.
If yes, when are you looking towards marrying? At what age?
Not now, Shaba. I don't know when. Maybe later. Yeah.
Give me an age bracket.
Like maybe 28. Yeah. 20.
28ish. So I've asked you 4 questions, but you're still on marriage.
Yeah.
Do you understand? So it's we're still talking about the same thing, but it's just going deeper and deeper. So the yes or no answer can be it can seem brief, but you can still expatiate and say, okay, if no, why are you not married? Oh, I've not
Oh,
found a man. Okay, are you looking towards a black man, an Asian man, an Hispanic man? Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So it depends.
oh.
You can still yes or no answers can be good. At the same time, you can also elaborate on it. If yes, this, then if no, then this.
Oh, okay.
Any other questions before we go on break?
Um. Yes. So well, this one is just relating to what you mentioned earlier when you said that like most times it's easier to transition to like an environment where you have like some sort of like a knowledge basically like
Hmm.
as me now undergrad chemical engineering and I'm
Hmm.
not BA now. So I was doing some research and well, I don't know, in Canada here, sustainability and all those kind of people don't really have BAs but need BAs. I
Hmm.
don't know if you get. like all those like
Yeah.
yeah, that kind of industry. So my question is, with all what you've been saying now, how would that, because they don't necessarily have products, they more so like initiatives basically. It's not necessarily like a product. So like is that why they don't have VAs? I don't know if you understand my question.
I do. So what your question is in two phases. First of all, how can you, as someone who has a chemical engineering background, move transition into industries that you do not have domain knowledge about? That's your first one. You basically have to study up. You have to read. You have to know more about the product, about the niche, about the industry. If you're interviewing for a BA role in a bank, for example, you need to read about the bank. You need to know about their environment, their website. Their website literally has to be your Bible and your where you basically spend your morning and night on. Their app, you have to download the app and understand it fully. Just so
Yeah,
if they ask you questions around that domain, you're able to answer. Like
yeah,
I said, it's not a criteria, it's just a setback, but it's not a disqualifying factor that, oh, we think this is because they know that, oh, you have a chemical engineering background. If you're working in a company that is oil and gas, they know that the terminologies cannot throw you off.
yeah,
Do you understand what I'm trying to say? But if you can demonstrate prowess during the interviews and everything, that's not going to be an issue.
yeah,
So your second question was the other question was around sustainability and everything else. In like I said, a lot of companies are just onboarding to becoming technical.
yeah,
Not a lot of them used to be very. When I mean technical, they probably had a warehouse. They had no management system. It was basically hand to hand conversations. But now they're trying to have a system whereby they log in. They do this. Remote work has brought a lot of people online.
yes.
So now they are thinking that okay, sustainability needs to just move from the conversation of we need to be going to a physical place. We need to be able to have maybe an app that can track these things in real time, and we should be able to do X, Y, Z. So
Yeah.
that's why it's probably new, and then they're just onboarding BAs to be able to
Oh,
help them transition from just words to your product.
okay.
Uh,
Okay. Yeah.
All right. Do you have any
Yeah.
other questions before we go on break?
No, but I would think about some and
All
bring.
right. No
Yeah.
worries. See you
So
by 1 p.m.
1 p.m.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Yes.
All right.
You same link, right?
Yeah, no, no, don't log off. Yeah, you can just stay on. Oh, you don't have to. You don't have to stay on. If you don't want to stay on, you can just come back in. It's the same link. I'll just leave this running. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
See you by 1.
Bye. Bye. Mary, are you back?
Oh, yes, hello.
Hi.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can, but it sounds like you're in a hole.
Oh, okay.
Can you see me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you hear me better now?
Yeah, I can hear you clearly, but like I said, it, it just sounds like you are in a very shallow place, but it's okay. Just give me one moment, please. All right. Let me know when you're ready.
Okay, I'm almost ready. Yes, I am ready.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Do you have any pending questions or observations, comments, anything just before we
No.
start? All right. This other lap is going to be fun. So just brace yourself. Um, Give me one moment.
Okay, I have one question. Not begging. But it's let me just ask the question. You know, you mentioned earlier that interviews need to be recorded and things like that, so that you can go back to like go over them and whatever, make your analysis and all those
Mm-hmm.
things. Yeah.
Correct.
So yeah, that now brought me like it made me think about when Selwyn was teaching all those body languages things and all those things. So do you consider all those stuff as well, or it's just what they say? You just put it inside a document. I don't know if that's very related.
But
If that's
it's what they
related
say, what they
with what
do,
they say, right?
yeah, it's what they say,
So no,
please.
nothing like body language or anything like
Nothing
okay.
like, as far as I know, nothing like body language, please. It's what they say, because their body language could be reading something else, and they could
Yeah.
tell you this is not what I said.
Okay. So it's just
Right?
whatever
It's
comes out
just
from their mouth.
whatever comes out from their mouth, please,
Okay.
please, and please.
Okay. Okay.
All right, just give me one moment.
Let me remember. Okay.
For some reason, I don't know why this particular screen is not wanting to share. Um, mm, mm, mm. Let me cancel it. Okay, bear with me, please. Just
Yeah. Sure.
all right. I think I'll just have to share my entire screen. Okay, so we were here.
Yeah.
Just give me one moment. So we already went through all this. So very quickly again, Babok, which is the Bible of business knowledge of business analysis. Again, if you remember the definition of Babok,
Yeah.
right? It's basically has some concepts that we need to follow, which is in systems and structures. If you remember the business analysis body of knowledge, right?
Yeah.
Has business, there are some concepts that we need to follow. First of all, what's a concept? The concept is like an idea that we need to follow. Again, these are not the entire concept, but core, again, is the core, which is like one of the most important things that we need to know in business analysis is what this is talking about. So Babok has some core concepts which we call BCAMP. So it's business
Because
analysis. Yes, business analysis core concepts model. Nobody asks you what BCAMP is,
yeah.
but you're just supposed to know, because the concepts are, when you're talking about business analysis, the concepts will fly around a lot of the time. The first
Okay.
thing, So there are 6 key concepts according to Babok, right? The first key concept is change. Again, it's just an act of transformation within an organization. So you hear them talk about change every single time, change this, change that, change XYZ, right? Another thing you hear them talk about is the need, right? So there's a need for this, there's a need for that, and everything else. Okay, need is a problem or opportunity to be addressed by the business analysts. Need can cause changes by motivating stakeholders to act. So do we need this? Do we need that? So need is going to be flying around all the time. And of course, these are examples: rising popularity and market share of an e-commerce competitor who directly competes in the marketplace with the company to attract growing share customers, transactions and volumes of goods needs to be sold. Excuse me. Again, there's a rising popularity and market share of e-commerce competitors. As someone that owns a warehouse, there are e-commerce competitors coming on board who directly compete in the marketplace with this company to attract growing share customers, transactions, and volumes of goods sold. This is your need. This is a business need. This is also a business need that you need to move to an e-commerce platform as soon as possible. Okay. All right. And we have solution. Solution is another concept. Like I said, concepts are ideas that fly around, or they are words or terminologies that fly around all the single time. Or what's the solution for this? What's the solution for that? Concepts will fly around like that every single time. Stakeholders, we've heard this time and time again. Stakeholders are basically concepts that fly around again in the business analysis world. Value, the worth, the importance, and usefulness of something. Okay, it's a concept that basically fires around. And the reason why I'm not delving into this much is because we already understand this concept. Okay, the last one is context, the circumstances that influence or that influence by and provide understanding of the change. So within a context, there are things that, okay, within that context, if you take them out of that context, they do not make any sense. So they only make sense within that context. Context is usually like a scenario. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
And once there are so many scenarios that you, as a business analyst, that you have to paint, like, okay, let's put it in this context of this customer, put it in the context of this stakeholder, put it in context of this quote unquote now scenario. Okay.
Yeah.
So you'll be in the context, oh, okay, let's think from the context of this, let's think on the context of that. That's also something that's going to be popping up in the business analysis world every single time. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. All right, the IRB Babok Guide version 3.0 knowledge areas. So there are some knowledge areas that you need to know that we need to talk about. These knowledge areas are as important as anything else. Again, the knowledge areas are things that you need to know that would basically improve your work and basically improve your understanding to be a business analysis.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right, so the first one is business analysis planning and monitoring. Okay, so planning and monitoring as a business analyst is a knowledge area. So knowledge area, again, I'll put them as scenarios that you find yourself in. Okay, and or you could essentially consider them as phases that you can find
Phases.
yourself in as a business analyst.
Oh,
Yes, phases. PHASES,
yeah.
phases. Phases that you can always find yourself, the knowledge areas that you can always find yourselves. So I give you an example. In WhatsApp, you could possibly not be in the planning and monitoring phase, depending on if it's a new product or if it's a new feature rather that they are trying to act upon.
Oh,
Do you
that makes
understand?
sense.
So you could be in the
Yeah.
planning and monitoring phase of a new project, but an existing project already, you don't have to be in the planning and monitoring. You've passed that phase.
Yeah.
So this describes the tasks you use to organize and coordinate business analysis. Like you basically use that to basically head out for your project. Like planning and monitoring is something that you have to do at the very initial start of this. Okay. So planning and monitoring is when you're identifying stakeholders, defining roles, responsibilities of stakeholders, developing estimates for business analysis task, planning out the business analyst will communicate with stakeholders. Of course, planning out how requirements will be approached, traced, and prioritized. I'm going to start over again and explain. Okay, so please understand that the knowledge areas are situations, phases that you can find yourself,
Yeah.
right? In the middle of you you wanting to start something as a business analyst, you're starting a project. Planning and monitoring phase is very eminent. Like that's what you're starting with. Oh, I'm in the planning and monitoring phase of this thing. That's why this core concept is very important. Like, oh, we're in the planning and monitoring phase. If you get hired as a business analyst now, you could possibly talk to your product manager, and they can tell you something like, oh, we are still in the planning and monitoring phase.
Yeah.
Do you understand? So what that
Yeah.
means is during that phase, you are still identifying stakeholders. You are still defining the roles and responsibility of the stakeholders. This is just pre-project.
Yeah.
So they've identified that we need to work on something, but we are still in the process of, okay, let's plan around this. So they can hire you now, and they are in a planning and monitoring phase of a particular project, but they could be in the elicitation and collaboration of another project. Let's
Like you have.
use
Oh, okay.
let's use three examples as case study. All right, WhatsApp is the company in view now. WhatsApp wants to incorporate a meeting room. No, not a meeting room. WhatsApp wants to incorporate a share screen feature, right?
Yeah.
They have already said they want to do that. As a business analyst, the first thing, the stage where you are in, this has not been introduced yet. So think of pre-concept. This has not been built yet. As a business analyst, okay, the phase that you're in is still in your planning and monitoring.
Yeah.
You're identifying stakeholders, you're defining roles and responsibility of stakeholders, you're developing estimates for business analysis task, you're planning the business analysts to communicate with stakeholders, you're planning how requirements will be approached, you're determining the deliverables, defining and determining the business analyst process, you're doing all that. This is still the planning and monitoring phase.
Yeah.
So they could be something like, oh, Mary, we are still talking to stakeholders. We just hired you. This is the process where we are still talking to stakeholders. We're still developing estimates for the task and everything. What's that phase called?
What?
What's that phase called? Like I tell you that, oh, for this new feature that we're trying to push out, we're still currently talking to our users. Our management is still trying to sign off of that. They don't
Is
really know the
that
approach. No, it's still your planning and monitoring.
how?
You're still planning. We are
But you're
planning
speaking
to.
to people.
No, we are I said we are planning to.
Oh, we are planning to.
Yes.
Okay. Oh,
Yes. You're planning to speak to stakeholders.
yeah.
You're say for example, they can say something like, oh, we're still defining the metrics, how we're going to structure everything. This is
Oh,
just an idea. Think of this as ideation stage, like where this is
yeah.
still an idea.
Yeah.
So once you get on that project, once they mention that, they won't tell you are still in the planning and monitoring. But as a business analyst, you automatically grab and be like, oh, we are still in the planning and monitoring of this phase stage.
Yeah.
We've not done anything, we're still trying to put things in place. Do you understand?
Yes.
So that's what we're still trying to do in the planning phase. So we're just still trying to get things in check, things in shape, and everything else. Um, then the next phase is of course elicitation and collaboration. So this describes the tasks used to prepare for to conduct elicitation activities and confirm the results. Again, what did I say elicitation was again? Finding out and
Yeah.
collaborating. So this is where you're preparing for elicitation, conducting elicitation, your meetings, your interviews. This is where it comes in. So once they say, "Oh, we're already started speaking to users, we are still interviewing them, we're still trying to get down the ideas, we're still speaking to stakeholders, and we're currently managing, communicating with them to get more information concerning the requirements." What phase are you in?
Sorry, I could not hear you. These construction people are.
Okay,
What
it's
did you
okay.
say?
I
Yeah.
said if they say something like, "Oh, we are currently speaking to users, we are conducting a elicitation, we are just getting more information concerning what the requirements would be,
Mhm.
still trying to understand the concept of what they are trying to do, what our clients want, what our users want, what our customers want." That phase is called elicitation and collaboration. So
Yeah.
again, non-business people that are not in the business analyst world will not tell you are doing elicitation and collaboration. They'll just throw these words around
Yeah. That gives you like sort of
automatically.
a hint.
Yes, automatically you're supposed to know the phase you are in.
Yeah.
So if I say, "Oh, we're still planning on talking to users. We've not spoken to them yet. We're still trying to arrange how these meetings are going to go. We are just trying to get a budget estimate from the management team to be approved and everything." What phase are you in?
Planning and monitoring.
Exactly. You're still planning and you're still monitoring. But in situations where I say we've engaged with the users, we are trying to manage the expectations of the stakeholders, we are getting results, we are preparing for elicitation, we are conducting interviews and everything, automatically, you're in the elicitation and collaboration phase of that project.
Yeah.
So, as a business analyst, you could be working on 4 different projects. Project one, you could be in the planning and monitoring stage. Project two, you could be in the elicitation and collaboration phase. Project three, you could be in the requirements lifecycle management, which is the next thing we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
So as a business analyst, in a company that is very, very fast moving, you can be working on 4 different projects. So you are getting meetings back and forth. You're organizing like your world is filled up with meetings and a lot of work. Do you understand? Because you're in different phases, and different phases has different objectives. So in the elicitation and collaboration phase, what you are supposed to be doing is conducting interviews, drafting your interview questions, conducting next interviews, conducting workshops, doing observation technique, or getting observations from people, getting your results ready, and all those kind of things. That's in your elicitation and collaboration. Another project you could be on, and they could tell you that, "Oh, Mary, we're still trying to get, like I said, approval from the management team. They're supposed to meet with us next month. You're still in the planning." So you already know what to be preparing as a business analyst. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Now, the third phase would be requirements lifecycle management. Okay?
Yeah.
Requirement lifecycle management. Requirement lifecycle management describes the tasks used to manage and maintain requirements and design information from inception to requirement. That's supposed to be requirement, not retirement. Requirements. Okay, so again, require R is called the short form is called RLCM, Requirements Lifecycle Management. You are so you have traceability requirements, trace requirement. Just underline the word trace.
True.
Trace requirements. These are basically requirements whereby you should be able to, from start to finish, if they edit something at the very bottom, you can trace it back to number one and say this is where these are the processes that we took to get to this
Yeah.
point. Maintain requirement. What you want to do is also trace the requirement at this point in time. So when you've gotten all these things from these people, right? You put
Yeah.
them into requirements that this is what they spoke about. In the requirement lifecycle management, this is where the editing comes in.
The editing.
Yes. Okay. Let's go back. This guy, first guy, planning and
Yeah.
monitoring, ideation phase.
Yeah.
This number two guy, elicitation and collaboration. You are getting words. When I mean
Yeah.
getting words, you're asking questions, you're getting information, you're you have all those words, all that information. Let's call it data because it's unprocessed.
Yeah.
This point, you're preparing to get data, you're
Yeah.
planning, idea. At this point in time, You're getting the data, the interview questions, the surveys have come back in, the observations have come back in. That's still data. This point, you're not processing the data. How do you process data? You basically remove stuff, take stuff out. Oh, this doesn't make sense. Oh, say for example, you're speaking to Mary and Matthew. They said the same thing. They don't have to say the same thing inside the same document. You can just be put, oh, Mary and Matthew agreed on the same thing. Mary spent 30 minutes talking about the same thing. Matthew spent 30 minutes for. Do I have to use 2 pages for them?
No. Since they
I can
spoke about
just,
the same
yes. So this is where you're editing it out. So you're managing like you're literally tracing, okay, this person said the same thing with this person. We are maintaining it and prioritizing this requirement. Okay, Mary, who is the CEO, gave an instruction.
thing.
Matthew, who is the accountant, also gave an instruction concerning the same thing. Who are you prioritizing? Of course, the CEO.
Yeah.
This is when you know, even though you had the meeting with the CEO last, not because, oh, the CEO said this thing last, you're not putting the person as last. You're prioritizing that, okay, we need this thing to move to be on top there because it's coming from the CEO. Also, it could be that the accountant has more knowledge about this information than the
True.
CEO. And the
Yeah.
CEO and the accountant is a subject matter expert in this case. Like, oh, this accountant knows more than the CEO. At that point in time, you prioritize the accountant over the comments that the CEO is giving because they know more about the subject. You're building an accounting app. Your CEO doesn't know much about accounting, but your accountant knows much about the accounting than the CEO. So the requirements from the accountant is, of course, more prioritized.
That's, yeah.
And during this process is where you get approval. So again, it's not as if as a business analyst you're just making all this document up. Once you're done making it up, you edit, you process and everything, you have to get an approval. They sign off. They put their signature. All these things that you put here, Mary, it has been signed by us. We truly said it, and this is what we want. Just so when you are done, they will not say, "Oh, this is not what we said." You saw it and you signed.
Um, and that
Do you understand?
document is that BRD document, right?
Yes, business requirement documents. Inside the BRD is where you have the business case. The business case is the problem, like the problem and the solution you are providing.
Yeah.
Right. So you see where the requirements documents make sense. The business requirement documents make so much sense.
Yeah.
So after you move on to processing, where you're now going to strategy analysis, this is where you describe the tasks used to identify the business need, address that need, and align change strategy within the enterprise. So when you now take all that documents together, when they've signed off with it, right? You now look at the stuff that you're trying to build. You now analyze it. Can you hear me still?
Yeah.
You analyze it and be like, okay, the current situation of WhatsApp, this is it. What these guys are trying to say, this is it. They want a situation whereby the current situation doesn't allow for us to be able to share screen. The future situation is they want to be able to share screen. They want to be able to bring in more customers in such a way that they are not losing customers to Zoom, WebEx, and other streaming platforms or other share screen platforms where they can present stuff. You as a business analyst, you're putting that into documentation. So you could get to this phase and be like, oh, we already have a list of requirements, Mary. At this point in time, we just need someone to evaluate the current state. We just need to know the risk associated with what's currently going on. You know that they're in the strategy analysis phase. They have passed, they've passed the planning, they've passed the elicitation, they've passed the requirement lifecycle where they edit and take out, everybody has signed off. They're currently in the strategy phase whereby they're defining the strategy to be able to move forward with stuff. Do you
Yeah.
understand?
Yeah.
So they're moving forward and say, okay, we need someone to be able to evaluate. So once they're saying, oh, we need you to assess the risk, tell us, define the strategy, the change strategy that we can use to move things from where we are to where we need to be, all those type of conversations, when it starts to come up, you already know that you're in your strategy analysis phase. Do you understand this phase?
Yeah.
So again, this describes the tasks used to identify the business need, address that need, and align. So what you're basically doing is all what the information that you got from here in number 3, you're summarizing it and you're making it a bold statement. This is where you develop a business case, if that makes sense. Think of business case as you say what is currently going on, what they need to do, and the solutions they are providing, the risk associated. This is where you develop a business case.
Oh.
So all these things that are coming into life of a document or of a BRD.
Yeah.
Do you understand the concept?
Yeah.
So by the time you analyze the current state of what it is, define the future state, assess the risk, define change strategy, and how you're able to move forward with stuff, that's already your business case. In all these points, your BRD is already forming.
Yeah.
Your BRD is already forming. Okay? So
before we move on, sorry. Yes. Assessing risk is what you will do at the strategy analysis phase. But when you were explaining, you said that you will just assess the risk for the current state. So you don't assess like the risk associated with what is to come.
yeah,
Is
you
that what
can
you
do as yes, you can do you can access risk for future and current states.
Oh, for both.
Yeah,
Okay.
you can do current states. If we don't implement this share screen feature right now, this is what we stand to lose.
Mhm.
If you eventually implement it and our customers are not able to use it well, this is the failure that we're going to encounter.
Yeah.
Do you understand? So you're accessing those things as well, just to put it there that these are the potential risk, just in case anything blows back in our face.
Yeah.
Okay. So from there, you're not going on to number 5, which is your requirement analysis design definition. Okay. Describe the tags used. This describes the tags used to organize requirements, specify and model requirements, and design. So once you have all those things,
Yeah.
what then you then do is start to design. Like, okay, I think these people have made so much sense. Mary, if you remember, it's all coming together, correct?
Yes.
This is the concept here. Elicit. So the planning phase comes before this, planning and monitoring. After you plan, you now elicit and discuss requirements with clients using relevant elicitation techniques. This next phase, after you've done that, the next phase following that is you do your requirement lifecycle management, where you take out, you do this, you do that, you do that. This is also in that phase. Then the next phase is when you now create diagrams. These are your role responsibilities. But the knowledge areas are the phases that you need to go through. Do you
And
get what
like
I'm
they
trying to
go in order.
They go in order. You can't skip a step.
Yeah.
With this one, these are just your roles and responsibilities. Do you understand? Things that you're supposed to do. With this one, they go in order. Like they could have employed somebody else and the person left when they were in phase 3,
Yeah.
gathering requirements. But you understand that you're still in phase 3. So that requirement, what you want to do is go and study the person's notes, the interviews that they conducted. You now want to take stuff out. You want to take stuff out and edit it, remove it, and of course get them to sign off that this guy that left, this was what he did, and this was what I was able to bring out of what is it correct? Yes, okay, approve it. Then from there, you're now going to strategize and be like, okay, this is the current state, this is the future state, these are the risks associated with the 2 stages and everything else, and then we can move on.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
And then number 5 is the requirement analysis design definition. Okay, so at this point in time, they've signed off. You've done your due diligence. You've analyzed the current state, which is the business case and everything else. Once they've done that, you want to go and design something for your business team. So requirement analysis and design definition is this stage. Describes the tasks used to organize requirements, specify and model requirements and design. So all these things that they've given you, all these things in the requirements and everything else, you want to go and design it.
Also, in this case now, is that where you will now be speaking to the technical team?
Thank you. That's when you
Oh.
start to speak to the technical team.
Oh. Okay.
Do you understand? This is when you start to speak to the technical team. In fact, you can start to speak to this technical team from here.
Oh.
Tell me, ask. Let me ask you why. It's a very logical question.
Or is it not where that feasibility phase comes in?
Yes, you need to know whether what they can build is feasible.
Oh, yeah.
So once they've given you the elicitation from here like this, you want to go to your technical team and be like, guys, this is what they are saying. Does it make sense? Can we build this? Okay, yes, we can build it. Oh yeah, let's finalize on the requirements. Take out edit, take out edit, take out edit. This is what I think they're saying. Take it to your guys. Guys, do you think it's okay? Yes, it makes sense. Okay, let's move on to the next state. Then I can analyze the current state, future state. Then from there, you can now move on to going ahead to design something for them. Do you understand? So specify and
Yeah.
model requirements, validate requirements, define requirements architecture, define design options, analyze potential value and recommend solutions. This is where you want to. And the funny thing is when you are here, you can borrow some of this.
When you are aware.
When you are still in your requirement life cycle, maybe you are still in your requirement life cycle management process where you're just still signing off on requirements and your technical team doesn't really understand stuff. You can design something basic for them. You're still borrowing from this design phase.
Oh, okay.
You can design something basic and say this is what they are trying to say. Do you get? Okay, yes, it can be built. So yeah, then sign off. Then they sign, then we can then move on to the business case, build out the business case, add it to the document. Then from there I can now build something that okay, when they've signed the document or this is what I think should be properly done.
Yeah.
So they can tell you that oh the BA that we had, he left, he already designed the business case, he spoke about the current future state and everything else. You already know that the guy left at the strategy analysis phase. Okay. The next phase is of course to design stuff from the document.
Yeah.
So once you design stuff from the document, again, your last phase is solution evaluation. Describe the tasks used to access the performance of the value delivered by a solution, recommend improvements and increasing value. Of course, solution evaluation, again, this is a phase. A phase is very dynamic. It doesn't have to, like I said, they can be throwing these words all around. Oh, we are currently designing, we have different design options that we're trying to explore. You already know that they are in the requirement analysis and design phase.
Yeah.
So it's not as if they will say, oh, we are in this, like they can throw it out and say, oh, we are trying to analyze the potential value and the recommended solutions. We've had some few diagrams that we've sent to our team, blah, blah, blah. We're just trying to get, basically, we're just trying to evaluate more design options just to make sure that we have the proper flow. You understand that it's the requirement and design phase that they are in.
Yes.
Okay, so the next phase is solution
That's
evaluation. Describes the tasks used to assess the performance of value delivered by solution to recommend improvements on increasing values. Okay, this is when you now measure solution performance, analyze performance. So this phase is when they've built the product. Okay, they built the product at this point in time. You're now evaluating the impact of that solution. This is where you now go and
those tech testing people now. Like
yes, they
validate
built
people.
they built they built stuff for you. This is where you now go and present.
Oh,
There was present. Now if you remember, you present those documents. Can you hear me?
yeah.
Yeah, you present those documents and you basically measure the impact of the solution, analyze performance measures. So right now they can say, oh, we're currently just measuring, we just launched out our products, we just went live with it. We're just currently just measuring the trying to see the effect of it on how people are using it, how they're in the solution evaluation. They're trying to evaluate,
Yeah.
recommend actions to increase solution value, blah blah blah. So they can be in different phases in different projects, depending on the project that you're working on. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So they
Yes.
can put you on a project now, and like I said, the AFPO project as a business analyst, they've hired you in WhatsApp for different projects. Project one, you could be in the planning and monitoring phase. Project two, you could be in the elicitation and collaboration. Project three, you could be in the requirement lifecycle management. Project four, You could be in the requirement analysis, the design phase.
Yeah.
So they have different things or your different roles and responsibilities. Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Okay. Each phase has what? Different roles and responsibilities, correct?
Yeah.
Now, let us put you to a test. These are the roles and responsibilities of a business analyst in a project. So
Yeah.
elicitation and elicit and discuss requirements with clients using relevant requirements, using relevant requirement elicitation techniques. What phase is that?
Elicitation and collaboration.
Perfect. So now you're now analyzing and creating designs, prototypes, wireframes. What phase is that?
Um,
You don't have to
you're.
say it like the way it is, but it's
Oh, okay,
just
okay. I think it would be the maybe like the life cycle management or analysis and design
no, it's not
definition.
lifecycle management, it's analysis and design. This one, number
Okay.
one, can also be analysis and design. You can
Can
also
also
be
be
doing,
analysis and design.
yes, elicit and
Yeah.
discuss requirements with clients using relevant requirements. Y- Okay, so analysis and design, if you remember what we spoke about it, just give me one moment. Something is vibrating here. And let's go to the definition of analysis and design again. You're basically taking out, you're maintaining, you're prioritizing requirements, accessing requirement changes, approval. So if you go back, eliciting the discuss requirements with users using relevant requirement techniques. You know, I told you something that you can borrow some of those.
Yeah.
Like I said, you can borrow some of those attributes, but 80% of the time it will be clear that this is the phase, but you can borrow some of those. Like in your analysis and design phase, you can go and borrow at the very least, like, okay, what are the you could talk to your technical team, draw them a wireframe, and then try to just show them that this is what they're trying to talk about. Okay.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
when you're creating the business requirement documents, this one is every phase, right?
Yeah.
Coordinate with developers to build the solution. You can say
Development.
this phase.
Yeah.
After phase 5, you can say phase 5, between phase 5 and phase 6.
Okay.
That's when you start to coordinate with them. But you can also borrow with them at the initial after your elicitation, or just to check with them and say, oh, is this thing buildable? That's where you're also collaborating. Okay.
Yeah.
So work with quality assurance to test and validate. What phase is that?
Mission evaluation.
Right, right. Coordinate user acceptance testing, solution and evaluation, support deployment, solution. So do you see that each responsibility has a phase? There's probably more responsibilities. You see, it says other ad hoc and on-hand responsibility may be assigned. Does this make sense to you?
This last statement or everything you've said so far.
Everything I've said and this last said.
This last statement doesn't make sense to me, but
Okay, other
sure.
ad hoc. Ad hoc means other external on non-curricular things and on-demand responsibilities may be assigned. They could just tell you that, oh, we need you to do some little things that are
Oh,
outside of the
maybe
scope of
assigned
this.
to me. Oh, I said,
Yes, yes,
oh,
as a
oh,
business
oh.
analyst, that
I
you could
thought you.
categorize into the phase as
Oh,
well. So
okay.
all these responsibilities, you are supposed to do them, but they are now in different phases. They can tell
Yeah.
you, oh, create the business requirement document. Initially, creation of something that's even at the planning and planning and development stage, the ideation stage. You're
Yeah.
creating business requirement documents, business analysis, planning and monitoring. That's when you're creating documents,
Yeah.
right? So let's move on. This would be the last thing we'll talk about today, just so you don't have an information overload. Um, common types of projects. There are different types of projects that you'll be working on. right? And like I said, this is when the projects come into play. So the first project here would, before I even say that, these types of projects implemented in an organization are defined by various factors such as business needs, budgets, timelines, technology. The common type of projects for business analysts that they work on is systems, new system implementation project. New system implementation project. This involves the installation or building of a new software product from scratch, end to end.
Really? So BDAs are involved in that.
Yes, a project. Oh, we've hired you, Mary, as a business analyst in company WhatsApp to basically um, build a feature where people can sign on their documents before they send it out.
Um,
Oh, Mary, we've hired you as a business analyst um, to on the in Walmart. Okay, we are building a system whereby people can order. We are creating Walmart foods, ready-made foods, and we are trying to create an online app for that. This is
yeah,
a new system implementation. It's you're building from scratch.
from scratch.
You're building a new software entirely.
Yeah.
So within you building that software, you can have different phases. They could have been building that software and they hired you, and you they can be in, oh, we're still, oh Mary, do you know what? We're trying to build this app that helps people order food from Walmart. The app is not yet made. We're still trying to talk to our stakeholders and we're still trying to basically just understand the budget that Walmart's management has for it. What stage are we in?
What?
Did you hear my question?
No.
Okay. So, Mary, we are currently trying to build a product where Walmart users can order food from the comfort of wherever they are in Canada, right? And we are just basically trying to see this stage currently we are just still talking to our stakeholders, trying to understand their needs, and we are not talking to them yet, but we are thinking of talking to them, trying to understand their needs, and management is still trying to sign off of the budget. We don't know what the budget is yet. What stage are we in?
Planning and monitoring.
Okay, we're at the stage where we are already talking to users. We're talking to users of this app. Management has signed off. They've given us a particular budget. We are still trying to make them understand that we need more money and we need to be able to get more information from the stakeholders to know what they want from this app. What stage are we in?
Is it not still planning?
Yeah, you're not
Or is
planning
it
at that point.
elicitation?
You're already eliciting. You're already talking to people. You're talking to users. You're talking to
But you
stakeholders
said you're
concerning what they
talking
want.
to management to get them
Yes,
to
now
give you more money.
stakeholders. It's not just one
Oh, you
person.
said, oh, you said
You're talking to
stakeholders.
users, you're talking to management. They're also stakeholders. The moment you start to talk to people about the
Oh,
project,
okay.
is that we are going to do this. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Now the
Yeah,
elicitation has started. Do you understand what
yeah,
I'm trying to say?
yeah.
Elicitation has started, and you have essentially started speaking to people, getting their inputs. Okay, Mary, from there, we've gotten all the. So we've basically talked to a bunch of people for the past 1 month. We've been doing interviews with people. We've been understanding their business needs, and we currently have a whole chunk of requirements that these people actually have. What what stage are you in at that point in time?
Life cycle.
Yes, you're at the life cycle requirement stage, whereby you've gotten all the requirements. Oh, Mary, yeah, at this moment we are sorting and filtering them. You're still in the life cycle, like we're still trying to put two and two together. From there, I think we've been able to get an approval concerning what the management and the stakeholders actually want from this app. And we are moving on to something else. But we need you, we've hired you currently now just to evaluate the current state and the future state of what we are trying to build. What state are you in?
Strategy analysis.
Yes, you're in the strategy and analysis phase, whereby you are now understanding that okay, this makes sense. Now you've signed, you've done this, you've done that. You're just trying to evaluate. You're building up the business case, right? All right. From there, you move on to okay. We've been able to do that. So our business analyst left. They already evaluated the entire structure, the frame, and everything, the change strategy. They've understood it. They're basically now just telling us that look, these things needs to be designed. We need to start to talk about them to our developers. We don't really know how to basically communicate this to them. Can you help out? What stage are they in?
Mm. So that would be the design definition and requirement
Yes,
analysis.
yes. Then design definition. So you basically take all that information and then you design it and then send it to their team.
Yeah.
Right. So Mary, they're currently done the design of being able to send it to our technical and development team, and they're currently just evaluating what is currently going on, and they've been able to build us a minimum viable product. And our testers have said that this thing is good to go. What stage are they in?
Solution evaluation, right?
Yes. So you
Okay.
see these roles again now apply to those different phases.
Phases.
So I
Yeah.
mentioned elicit and discuss. I mentioned analyze and create designs. I mentioned the document. I mentioned coordinating with the developers, work with
Yeah.
quality assurance, coordinate user. Do- Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it all comes together and it makes so much sense that okay, this is what you are doing.
Yeah.
Okay, so again, first type of project is new systems implementation project. Okay, next type of project is customized software implementation project. So customized software implementation projects, also known as tailor-made, okay? It's a software that is specially designed or developed for an organization or other small businesses. An example of this can be you designing an e-commerce platform for retail people. When I mean for retail people, for retail suppliers, you can.
Yeah.
It's literally for those that it's specified. It's tailor-made. So I can make a Shopify, I can make a Shopify template now and send it to Shopify users. Like, oh, anybody that has a Shopify store can use this. That's a tailor-made for Shopify users.
Yeah.
Do you understand? So you could be working in a consulting company and they could customize the software for another company or maybe a list of companies in the same niche,
Mm.
right? System upgrade. Okay, it's just update Windows 7 updating to Windows 10. You're basically not doing anything. An upgrade is different from an update. Upgrade is the process of replacing a product with a newer version of the same product. In computing and consumer electronics, an upgrade is generally a replacement of a hardware. You're replacing stuff. So an upgrade on WhatsApp could be they are changing the theme from green to yellow.
Oh, like how it was blue before, now it's green.
Yes. An update
Oh,
on Windows 7 is Windows 7. You know how Windows 7 was. Now
yeah.
Windows 10 is completely different interface.
Different.
Everything is new.
Yeah. So that one is an
Upgrade. Yes,
upgrade.
you almost can't recognize it anymore. An update is just little
Oh,
iteration, little iteration, little iteration.
oh. Okay, okay. Like when Instagram maybe moves their like button or something. That an
That's an
update?
update. Yes.
Oh, okay.
An upgrade of them, it's like a revamp,
Oh, completely changed.
completely changed. Like
Oh,
80% of stuff has been updated. That's an upgrade. They release a new version. So an update would be you moving from iPhone 14 to iPhone 15. That's an upgrade
yeah.
because it's a revamp of a design, revamp of that's an upgrade. An update could be iPhone 14 Pro, 14 Pro Max. Does that make sense?
Or
They
like
just
when
mhm. It's still
oh
when I mean wait, so let me give you a larger gap. iPhone X and iPhone 15. The
yeah.
difference is an upgrade.
Yes.
Now, iPhone X, iPhone XS can be bigger. iPhone XX Max can have maybe I don't know, maybe a better camera or something. That's
Yeah.
an update. It's still
Oh,
within, yes, it's still within the cocoon. It's still within that area. But an upgrade is where there's a big difference.
oh. So that means, like, in a way, we don't necessarily update all this our iOS. We upgrade them, especially like when it was 12, now it's 17. Do you understand
Those
what I'm
ones,
saying?
when I mean those ones are updates.
They're updates.
Yes, updates is they are changing little things, little things, little things. So iPhone 12, say for iPhone X, can be using iOS maybe 12, right? They update it to iOS 13. Now an upgrade will be they tell you it cannot work on this device.
Oh, you
It-
have to buy
you have
another
to
one.
buy another one. That's a
Oh,
complete upgrade.
oh.
Do you understand? I give
Yeah,
you a car, for example, a Mercedes Benz 2018
yeah.
and it's Mercedes Benz 29. That's an upgrade. Now, an update would be
Great.
Mercedes Benz S Class. They now make limited edition.
That'll be an update.
Yes, that's just an update to the current state. An upgrade is like next level grade, next level.
Mm.
Do you understand? So you could work on systems upgrade whereby you move from Windows 7 to Windows 10. A lot of things have changed. So with an upgrade, there is more updates. Mm.
Okay.
So with an update, maybe it's just one or two things that they tweaked and changed. But with an upgrade, there is a lot of updates. A lot, a whole chunk.
Yeah.
So if they change the camera, they change this, they change that, they change it's an update. So if you see
Great.
an update is you a slight feature. It's just a
Yeah.
slight feature. But an upgrade is like boom, you don't see anything else.
Can't recognize it like that.
You can't there's a lot of updates. So let's move on. So with the process, you have process improvement and modernization projects. A um process improvement and modernization project. A process improvement project involves changes to a certain business process to incrementally reduce costs, cycle timelines, variations of defects within a process. An example that comes to my mind is a warehouse, a manufacturing warehouse. There could be a process improvement in the sense that maybe before they had to take the goods from A to B to C. Now you've drawn a bridge directly from A to C. You don't need to go through B anymore. That's a
Oh,
process improvement. Do you understand?
oh, yeah.
So let's bring that to life. It could be that in that same retail store in Walmart, before you buy something, you have to go to the cashier,
Okay.
and then you have to pay. Now they found out a lot of people were on the queues. That's why
Yes,
they introduced self checkout.
that's out.
That's the process improvement. Do you understand? They are improving the process of something. Okay.
Yeah.
So 5 is commercial off the shelf cuts. Shots is it's a short form of course cuts. An adjective that describes software or hardware products that are ready made and available for sale to the public. A ready-made app or a commercial off-the-shelf app is Teams that we are using. It's ready-made for university organizations. It's ready-made for offices. It's ready-made for um for businesses.
Yeah.
So it's ready-made already. Do you get like they've made the product already? You just need to use it. Another example of ready-made stuff is I give you an example. A clothes that you want to buy, like a unisex clothes, not even a unisex clothes, a clothes in size 6. If you're size 6, that's already ready made. Whether the
Already.
design changes or anything, it's already ready made for size 6. You don't have to tell them, I change this, change that, change that, change this. No, it's ready made. So you could be in an organization that is creating ready made applications for businesses. Do you understand?
Yes, I have. So before we move on, I just wanted to ask. Yeah.
Hmm.
So for that our previous assignment, that Cheryl person, I remember they said like it was a commercial off the shelf something something
Product.
app. Yes. But my question is because like Cheryl was manually doing stuff before and they
Hmm.
now brought this commercial off the shelf thing
Hmm.
to make like the clients book their stuff online. Is that now a process improvement in a way or is it still a
Yes, it's
commercial
also a
off?
process. It's also a process improvement in a way. It's also a process improvement. So something that is commercially off the shelf could also be a process improvement. Very
Oh,
correct. Yes,
okay.
you're also trying to improve a process. It could also
Okay.
be that the existing one that they have, you're trying to update it.
Upgrade. Yeah.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
It's just words being used around. Like you could be working
Oh,
on the project that is it's an upgrade project. It's already existing. It's improving the process for us, and we need something ready made.
yeah.
So
Okay.
it could be some of all these terminologies in one, but it makes sense.
Yeah.
All right. Enhancements and modifications. This is update. So
Yes.
look at the definition
Update.
here. Yes, involves improvement to an existing system or software that doesn't affect performance, but might be aesthetical in value. This type of projects finds a way to enhance existing systems for users. For example, supplying users with new large screen monitors. We enhance existing systems because of the larger visual or UI, even though the process performance or speed of the system will not increase. So it's just you making stuff little updates,
Oh,
little updates. So you're just enhancing, okay? Data
yeah.
migration project. Data migration is a project by means of which data will be moved or copied from one environment to another. So you're trying to move from OneDrive, you're trying to move to Dropbox.
Yeah. So those
Or,
type of
mhm, yes, now they happen. Yeah? Are you kidding
oh
me? It could be a situation whereby the organization has 1,000.
no, I know they happen. I'm just saying that like so BAs are involved. That was my
Yes,
question.
yes, BAs are involved. You are
Oh,
absolutely involved. You could create a website that could help people navigate. They could tell you, BA, oh, what do we need to create this website? BAs are involved in that. So they could migrate to a new system. Say, for example, they used to use OneDrive before, and the organization has now built their own OneDrive in-house, and they don't want to use OneDrive again.
oh,
They can hire a BA. That, oh, we
yeah.
want to build our own. How do we do? That's a data migration project.
Uh,
In the data migration project, they cannot be in different phases that they hired you in. Does that make sense?
yeah.
They can be in the planning monitoring phase, they can be in the design phase, they can be in the solutions phase, they can be in the requirements lifecycle management phase, depending
Yeah.
on when they hired you. So maintenance project is just regular maintenance, involves the maintenance of existing systems. The idea is not to introduce anything new, but fix defects. Say, for example, this button didn't used to work before. This button I'm hovering on didn't used to work before. You're just
Oh,
fixing stuff, or maybe it stopped working. You're just fixing it. Oh, Mary, we experienced too many bugs with our app in the sense that when we click on it, we have to click on it 3 times before it responds.
before I respond. Oh,
Yeah, just that's just a maintenance issue.
yeah.
So yeah, our time is far spent. I think that's about it for
Yeah.
today.
That's it for today.
So far so good. Has everything been clear? Has everything been concise? I think I can stop the recording now. Do you have any questions before I stop the recording?
No.
Okay, let me just give me one moment. Stop recording. Right, like